U.S. Southern Command oversees an area covering more than 40 million square miles. As the air component for U.S. Southern Command, Air Forces Southern has worked hard to confront a major challenge in this region: the trafficking of illicit drugs into the United States. For 1 week in August, Air Forces Southern undertook a surge of its operations. Air Force bombers, air refueling tankers, and intelligence personnel expanded their work with the United States Coast Guard and with the Joint Interagency Task Force South, the U.S. agency leading the fight against narco-traffickers. This renewed effort against the traffickers is collectively known as Big Week.
During Big Week, we took a bunch of Air Force assets, B-1s, B-52s, and J-Stars, and focused those aircraft in a specific area against the narco smugglers. We have an area of operations where it's very heavily used by the smugglers, and so we focused on one particular area using Air Force assets.
We're able to surge our assets both with global force management resources as well as training resources to give them additional aircraft detection and monitoring, which resulted in 6 metric tons of cocaine seized or disrupted in that particular operating area. So that's 6 metric tons of cocaine which never made it into the United States.
While JIATF-South collected and disseminated information on trafficking operations, long-range Air Force B-1 and B-52 bombers were given the difficult task of flying over large areas of the ocean in search of suspected traffickers.
Obviously, finding boats doesn't seem like something that a bomber would typically do. And we look at this as an opportunity to, we are flying over large amounts of water, which we don't have in West Texas, and integrating with multiple naval Coast Guard type assets, and then finding these boats and then passing that data and hopefully causing some sort of action that meets the end state we're looking for.
Air refueling tankers expanded Big Week's operational reach, keeping Air Force bombers in the air and adding critical hours to the surveillance mission.
If we were to do this entire mission without the tankers, you may have had about an hour of on-station time altogether, and that's including whether we're talking ISR assets or bomber assets. And having that ability to extend the flight time of those ISR assets and the bombers allowed them for those pilots to do their job for a much longer period than if they did not have the tanker support.
Additionally, intelligence personnel proved to be an essential part of the success of Big Week, providing critical information flow between aircraft, maritime, and intelligence assets. These service members proved they could work together to control critical intelligence and make sure the drug interdiction team received important information.
So I think one of the greatest things that came out of Operation Big Week is being able to see missions planned and then executed that then has tangible outcomes and valuable intelligence that's passed down to the operators and then follow on to law enforcement, Coast Guard, so on and so forth, that actually takes drugs off the water and off the streets of America.
The operation also offered airmen, sailors, and Coast Guardsmen the chance to practice and refine various skills. Although their home station offered regular training, Big Week allowed the drug interdiction team to truly test that training in a real-world environment.
Part of our current mission is to go out and go find all types of different targets. So this gives us an opportunity to go down to an area that we don't typically operate out of, and it's a good opportunity for us to go exercise those combat capabilities that we have and we are ready to execute, but don't necessarily get the opportunity to very much.
These guys have now been exposed to that process, because even though it's not going towards putting a bomb on a target in this instance, with Big Week, it is that targeting process of finding something you're looking for and engaging it to cause a change of behavior, if you will, even though it's not dropping a bomb. It's the same type of process.
Overall, Big Week was a vast operation, meant to show how members of different agencies and services could operate in a joint environment against a common threat. Big Week proved that a determined and organized drug interdiction team could effectively challenge illicit drug trafficking into the United States.